Wow, guys, thanks. I'm so sorry there wasn't any sound. I guess when I restarted Streamlabs, it completely reset that. Yeah, let me check something really quick. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. I'm sorry, guys. Been casting the past few moments, the last 10 minutes and 15 minutes almost. And I'm really sorry. I did not expect Streamlabs to completely crash and reset everything to have no sound activated. Yeah, I'm sorry. Alright, well, getting back to it, what I was just saying is I do like the Lancers and the Skirmishers that he went with, that Prime went with, but I really like the Musketeers and Hussar into what was the Lancers and the Skirmishers. But switching over to Goons now, that's a good choice. Economically, it's very close, 58 to 56. And, yeah, what I think the really hard thing for Prime here was he took the fight when he didn't have to. Losing a barracks was fine. He had another barracks. He didn't get musketeer ups. He didn't get 2 falconets out. If he had waited, gotten musketeer ups, 2 falconets, he 100% would have pushed that back. He would have had a huge advantage, and he did not do so. I do like the choice to go skirmishers, but you had a window there. You had a huge musketeer mass. We see Prime going to age 4 now. Okay, so age 4 coming in from Prime. I don't think Alligator is going to be expecting the age 4. With the age 4, I'm expecting the Revolt. Let's look at his deck real quick. He does not have Hussar, Shipment. 1k wood was just sent, so I am expecting it to be a Revolt from him. He's getting some houses out, though. I wouldn't be expecting a lot of houses if it's going to be a Revolt. Perhaps he'll just go for heavy cannon skirmishers in Goons. We'll see what he does, though. Economically, still very close. Spain probably a bit in the lead. Well, the TP was just taken down, so maybe not so much. Yeah, I'm sorry that that it was disabled. The sound was disabled. I don't know why in the world it did that, and I'm sorry I didn't see it till when I did, but glad I at least saw it. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Alright, so we see some walls coming up from Optimus Prime, a little bit of a panic walls, if you will, putting up at the very last second. 2 falconets just came in. That was from the age up. So age 4, lots of skirmishers here, some longbows, and where's the cav? There should be cav. There's cav, but far away from the fight. Walls, cannons, very effective, especially versus age 2 army. There's not really an option if you can't get to the cannons with your cav. The longbow, they do not have the age 3 ups, the card that gives them 26 range, so it's 22 range. So they don't have quite as much range as you maybe would like versus the falconets, but that is the case. 2 caravels to in deck. Yeah, Alligator has nothing in regards to water whatsoever. Yeah, even has the 9 Barbary Corsairs. He's gonna actually see the docks now for the first time, I believe. Yeah, there was this whole game. I wish I hadn't had my mic be muted and everything, but yeah, it was muted. Oh well. The whole time, I don't believe Alligator saw the docks coming up whatsoever, and he did not expect the water play, and you have to be prepared for something like that. We do see some docks coming out now from Alligator. Maybe it's a little bit too little too late, though. It is 70 to 63 eco. So if he does take back water, there is a lot of fishing boats. We'll look at how many fishing boats he had. 23 fishing boats. So, yeah. Yeah. H2 versus H4. Well, we do see a factory coming out now. Caravels being shown on sea. So Prime Let's see. He does not have any ships in queue yet. He does not have wood to make ships. So I expect him to lose most of his water, if not all. He also should push out now. He should push out. You're gonna lose your water. You had a lot of water, a lot of eco advantage there, or a lot of eco, I should say, not necessarily advantage. It was very, very close, despite him going to sea. You see how effective the British boom is, and he is going forward with his army now. He knows that now's his time. He's losing most of his eco. If he can do a whole lot now, it'd be really strong. But these are age 4 units. The goons are not age 4. The skirmishers are age 4. It also has Highlanders in there. The Highlanders with the whales, he had a lot of income from that, and a lot of gold income, so making full use of that. The Cav getting in onto the skirmishers, the goons coming around now. The Highlanders do well versus Cav. They're basically a buffed musketeer. They take 2 military populations, 63 attack, 400 HP, and you don't have to really upgrade them. It is it's a unit that doesn't get upgrades though, so yeah. So the fight is mostly over at this point. It is 80 military pop to 18. 2 falconets back in base. Perhaps he should have brought those forward. If not, use them on the ships at least. How many economic units does he have? Does he have units inside the... He does not have units inside the docks. But we see that Alligators calls it GG. He did not expect the water play and never even thought about it throughout the whole game until he scouted it with his cav, I believe. So, yeah, definitely unexpected. For Alligator did not expect that, and well played from Prime. Alligator let him think he could win. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say there. It's a water map. You have to be aware that a player can always go water. In Spain's water is definitely decent. It's definitely above average. You have all the cards for a boom. You also have pretty good warships. So it's surprising to me that that Alligator did not even scout for the docks at all. But that's what happened. Prime, there was a window where Alligator could win because Prime engaged really hard age 3 right as he had age 3 before he got musketeer ups. He had, I didn't count it. Let's see how many musketeers he lost. I can't see that. But I didn't count it. He had somewhere around 30 musketeers, maybe 25 musketeers. And if he shipped 2 falconets, he would have cleaned up the army from age 2 Brits completely. So that's what happens. It is GG. Prime does take that indeed. It is 237 units killed to 158. Combat XP echoes that also. The resources gathered, we see there, Alligator pretty much ahead the whole game, actually. He just didn't age at all, didn't make strong use of that. We see how good the British boom really is in that situation. Prime went C. I think he even tried booming a little bit harder than Alligator did. Alligator didn't try booming super hard, but like he didn't do a full mainer boom or anything. We saw several fishing boats out before Prime was trying to get units out. But yeah, you see villager population slightly in the lead for Prime a lot of the time, but we see that Alligator ends up coming back with the eco lead, especially towards the end with all those fishing boats going down. But yeah, really well played. Well played from both players. We see that Alligator loses though to Prime. Prime takes it 1-0. We're gonna get into the next game in just a bit. All right, I am back. Yeah. So, are these the civs? We do know that Prime picked the map and picked the his civ, and then Alligator picks picks Aztec into Sioux. So we'll get into it shortly. The PR of Alligator, he is 29. Optimus Prime is 36. I think there are avenues where Alligator could win, but I think I'm not super familiar with Alligator. Last game, if he had scouted the sea, he would have had a lot better opportunity to win, I think. I think it was thinking FF is the only option, but that's what happened. All right, so Aztec versus Sioux on Fertile Crescent. I believe you still have the 2 War Hut age up option for Aztec. And if he was trying to rush pretty hard, that would be what I would expect. Even if he's not rushing really hard, that's probably what should be done. There are other options, but currently that's just really strong, and currently that's probably the best thing. For Sioux, he could age up fast and send 4 Axe and deny those 2 War Huts. Aztec, if he's prepared for that, could go for and fast age up himself or a 2 Skull Knight age up. I don't. It's not something you expect, but if Prime was to age up fast, send 4 Axe, try to kill those War Huts as soon as they aged up, and the 2 Skull Knights that if Alligator were to age up with, if the 2 Skull Knights were to kill off the Cav as they came in, expecting the War Huts, that would be something. But we'll see what happens. Fertile Crescent is the map. The trade route can spawn a couple different ways, but this is how it has spawned in an X. So this trade route goes all the way across and pairs up with this one. So oftentimes you don't see the trade routes being upgraded very early, but both civilizations could use the trade route. You kind of expected a bit more from Sioux than from Aztec, but if it was a wood start, it is definitely an option for Aztec. Definitely you want the fire pit if possible, though. So fire pit house. I think not having a wood start favors Aztec slightly more because you're not usually gonna chop wood for a market. You're not usually gonna chop wood for anything else. As Sioux, with a wood start, you can build a TP right away. I believe he got some wood, yes. Prime getting 40 wood, he chops 10 extra wood, builds a TP. That's going to give an 8% boost to his hunting. So, nicely done. These villagers, if they were on the other side gathering this deer, this ibex, sorry, I believe they would be possibly within range of the TP. It'd be really, really close. Yeah, old school. Jailed is casting. Opti is in the game. Alligator is versus him. Getting to the map real quick. I suppose this mine is that's a fair mine. It definitely favors Prime a bit more. I don't know. I think the mines are somewhat fair. There's a mine over here that Prime doesn't exactly have. There is a hunt. All the mines and all the hunts spawned. At least the placing of them is not super fair, but I think it's fair enough. I'm not going to call a re on it. So. Yeah, see, the 2 villagers are gathering from that ibex, and they are in range of the TP, but the 3 on this side are not. So, yeah, not making full use of that TP, but still works. Looking at the treasures picked up, let's look at those real quick. Prime picked up 40 wood, 20 coin, Alligator 50 coin, 45 food. So, looking at the age ups, it's going to be really close as far as when they start aging up. Alligator perhaps a bit sooner due to the food treasure and then also having a few more villagers, of course. We see 65 coin picked up by Alligator. Prime actually aging up a bit sooner. Perhaps some of the villagers from Alligator were moving from one deer or ibex to another. We see Prime aging up now. Alligator right behind him. Let's look at what they are aging up with. It is the Chief for Optimus Prime and the Shaman for Aztecs. I am not 100% aware of the names of all of the age up bonuses, so yeah, I can tell neither of them are a fast age up, so I expect it to be 400 wood and 2 war huts. Let's see. Reading chat real quick. I know a lot of time ESOC casters don't read chat and whatnot, but sometimes, I don't know, it's just habit for me at this point with streaming a lot. We do see an 80 wood treasure being picked up by Prime here. That's going to be a really nice touch. We'll see what he goes with in transition. He's sending 4 villagers forward. That's a lot of villagers forward. What's he going to do with them? Is it going to be war huts? Let's look at the decks real quick. Alright, so he does have 7 war clubs. He has 3 grizzlies. Has 6 Seton bows. Alright. Looking at Aztec deck, a little bit more standard. He does not have infantry trained faster. We do see a market coming up from Alligator here, and that should scout out the... well, maybe it doesn't. I don't think it does actually see the war hut. But once the war hut is up, he will have vision of the market. So it is a market up from Optimus Prime, 400 wood age up. Also the war hut. And Tiger's coming forward. I think he's going to try to pick off this villager. And now Alligator does see the war hut due to it firing on his villager. Alligator pulling back his villagers now. And the double war huts coming up over here. They're both going to go up. A little bit of HP taken off of this one. It is Seton bows in the queue, not war clubs first. Let's look at the options he has. He could send 4 axe. He could send 7 war clubs. Could send Seton bows. It is war clubs coming out first. He's going to try to siege down this war hut ASAP. And villagers taking on this tiger. And he's trying... He's meleeing down the war clubs with his villagers. That's kind of funny, actually. Seton bows there. If you had perfect micro, I suppose you could put them in the war hut. But, yeah, that is questionable gameplay there, for sure. The war chief coming over now. Just soaking up damage. I believe he may be in cover mode. Don't think he is, actually. Couple houses coming out now for Alligator. He was housed there. And let's see what he tries to do with this. The chief does go down. That only affects the HP of units, though. So definitely not necessarily the most important thing in this situation. The maces are sent. I do like the H2 army from Aztecs a little bit more than Sioux. Sioux doesn't have to build houses, though. Maces... not the most pop-efficient unit. Fairly cost-efficient, but not very pop-efficient. So you're required to build more houses than usual. And so that could come into play. I'd like to see these war clubs on this market. Try to take down that. Just some free XP there. Yeah, I checked the hunts. Yeah, there was a hunt over here, responding to Harrison. There was a hunt over here for Alligator and a hunt over here for Optimus Prime. So while the spawning did favor Optimus Prime a little bit, it was the same number of hunts, same number of mines from what I saw. So all in all, pretty good. We do see Prime getting onto Alligator, though. Alligator doing well trying to use the trees, but he has no anti-cap here, and those Axe Riders are going to clean up. Let's look at his deck real quick. He does have 6 Puma, 6 Coyote, and of course could train Puma or Coyote himself. All of those maces are going to go down. He's going to start losing villagers now. 20 to 12 in Eco Pop. Let's look at villagers. Economic units, it is indeed 20 to 12. 20 to 11 even. There is, of course, the warrior priest dancing, but he loses pretty much all of his villagers there. Losing all those villagers might as well be GG at this point, I feel like. Over double the military from Optimus Prime. 2 dog shit, and Alligator calls it GG. GG. Alright, let me confirm something for you really quick. It is a best of 5, I believe. So let's look at the post game real quick. It is 24 units killed to 38 units killed. And combat XP a little bit better over to Prime. Looking over at resources gathered. Alligator actually had the lead at one point. I believe that was from a shipment. Yeah, probably 700 wood. And he definitely lost villagers. Definitely had idle villagers. He actually only created 2 villagers after starting to age to 2. So yeah, he also was not creating villagers. Military unit population. You see that Prime pretty much had the advantage the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, interesting for sure. Yeah. Alright, so we'll get into the next game. Just a moment, guys. It is 2-0 Optimus Prime up. Getting into game. Alright, Malaysia is the map. Alright. Alright, Malaysia. Malaysia, and we'll see what Prime goes with. Let me check on something really quick for you guys. Alright, so we're waiting on Prime. Waiting on Prime to pick his Civ first. It is 2-0 up for Prime. All right, Prime picks ports. I think that's a pretty good choice on this map. Malaysia, despite players spawning really close together. Well, wait, no, he's going to Japan. Okay. Japan also a good choice. Despite what I was going to say is, despite players spawning pretty close to each other, I found that the vast majority of the time, if someone decides to rush, they end up losing on this map. Water is just so good. You have such a potential to boom. And, yeah, it's... The one thing about Japan is it's even more turtley. It allows you to defend even better. Also, you can shrine the hunts a little bit easier. On this map, if you are a civ that gathers from hunts, so aka anything but Japan, if you go to these hunts, you're pretty exposed to raids. And so I do like the option of Japan here. Ports is obviously another option with extra TCs. You are able to defend water. You are able to protect your hunts a little bit better. But he goes for Japan. Good choice. Aztecs into Japan. I think your only real option is to put pressure early. And they have the tools to do so. So we'll see if Alligator is able to put a lot of pressure on Optimus Prime or not. We'll see what happens very shortly, guys. Who won last game? Optimus Prime won last game. It is 2-0 up for Optimus Prime. Last game was pretty quick. We do see the players spawning. It's fairly close. It's not on the edges of the map. There's also a lot of potential. Aztecs could rush. They could also go for C. That is a option. Aztec C is very potent. So we'll see what he does. I do expect Japan to play a little bit more defensively, if you will. And we'll see what Aztec does into that. If you don't boom hard, if you don't rush hard, I don't see any other avenues, any other win conditions for Alligator. One thing also to note is that Japan can also go C. I don't know that he necessarily should. I do expect him to pick a C-related deck, but if your opponent is not going C, then I see no reason for him to do so, for Japan to go C also. He could just try to turtle it out and go hard into C anyways. We'll see what he does. Alright, so just confirming that the map is fair. There is 2 mines for each player. There is basically 3 hunts for each player. And yeah, very fair map. The yaks spawn well. The TPs, of course, spawned well. And the rest of the hunts around the map are very, very fair, in fact. It's almost absolutely identical in all reality. So good to see that. Yeah, let's look at the treasures in just a second. It is 40 wood and 35 food picked up by Prime, and 80 coin picked up by Alligator. That's it for now. He picks up 65 coin also. Prime picking up 35 wood. So slightly better for Prime. The coin is good, but it doesn't actually help you in Age 1 unless you get market ups or something along those lines. So there is an 80 wood treasure here that is close to his base. It is not scouted yet by Alligator. We do see that Prime just now saw it himself. It'd be really nice for him to pick that up. He has not done so. You hope he booms with an Azzy instead of rushing? Yeah, definitely going full C is definitely an option. Looking at his deck, no C though. No C whatsoever. He does have Coyote Combat, interestingly enough. Not a card you see every day. 20% HP, 10% speed. It's not a terrible card, but you're definitely going to want to be going lots of Coyotes if you're going to be doing that. And I feel like as Japan into Aztec, Yumi is a pretty good option. So perhaps he has that in deck specifically for that reason. Looking over at Prime's deck, he does have a C deck. He has 5 Ashi, he has 8 Ashi, 5 Naginata, 2 Atakabune, if that's how you pronounce it, 2 Funes. He does have the 3 fishing boats on a water map. That is the best card for Age 1 in my opinion. Japan does not have a whole lot of options early on, or in Age 1 as your first card. You don't have the, you don't have a villager shipment. You have 3 fishing boats, but you don't have a villager shipment. You do have a Heavenly Kami. You have 300 wood. You have 2 villagers, sorry. You have a 2 villager shipment, but 2 villager shipment is not that great. 3 villagers is significantly better. So we do see both players aging. Japan gonna hit Age 2 first. It is a trade post in transition for Alligator, so a little bit different than what he did last game. He also did not use his cows to try to age up faster. He's building a market also. This is interesting. Let's look at his deck. He could do an FF. That is a option. He doesn't have infantry train faster. Personally, I prefer infantry train faster over 3 warrior priests if you are trying to get a lot of warrior priests out quickly. The 3 warrior priests does not affect it if you have additional villagers dancing for more warrior priests, and then also the infantry train faster does affect warrior priests. It makes them train 40% faster too. So it's pretty. I like that card, and it also obviously helps you after you have 10 warrior priests. It helps your units come out faster. So I prefer that personally, but I can understand 3 warrior priests. It definitely does help your it in the early on it does a little bit more, and you don't have to have villagers dancing for more warrior priests too. But 2 war huts, pretty defensive, very defensive actually. And versus Japan with his deck, I don't know that honestly. Even in the first game, if Alligator hadn't scouted the docks, if he had looked at the deck of Optimus Prime, he would know that water was an option, just with his deck. So, I don't know if Alligator's looking at Optimus Prime's deck, but if he was, he would know that water is an option. He has docks on both sides, 1 dock on each side. And, yeah, we do see Prime aged up with the Torii Gates, not with the Teshugo Shrine. Which, if you're going for a water boom, I think that's a pretty okay option. You're not getting a whole lot of shrines out. You get the barracks for free. You get a samurai for free. You also get more combat XP from fighting. So you get more combat XP. The Torii Gates really only affects the combat XP. It doesn't affect XP trickle. It doesn't affect XP from building buildings, etc. So we see some maces coming out now, some Puma coming out now, and those maces are focusing the monk instead of the samurai, but the samurai runs away. Yumi come out now, and I think Alligator is going to go somewhat into Coyotes, but honestly, Alligator is not prepared for the unusual gameplay, if you will, from Japan. Perhaps he was just expecting a turtle from Japan, and he's not doing so. He does see the samurai. He should know that it was a Torii Gates up, which means that he's not Teshugo Shrining, which means he's only going to be going C, or only going to be trying to get lots of units out quickly. That's the only times you would go to Torii Gates over Teshugo Shrine. But, yeah. If the monks went back now, he could be okay there, I guess. But, okay, one goes back, not the other. Yeah. He is gathering coins some. So, he has 9 fishing boats on coin. I'm not quite sure why he's building or gathering coin. The only things that could use those in Age 2, besides upgrades, is the Naginata Samurai or the Ashigaru. Samurai, definitely not a very good option versus Aztec. You really only use it versus Cav, and the Coyote are good, but they're not quite as strong as regular Cav. What other options? You could go Ashy versus Ashy is always an option, to be honest, with Japan. But versus Aztec, I feel like the Yumi is slightly better. Definitely mixing in some Ashy is fine. I wouldn't have as many fishing boats on coin as he does have. He does have both of the upgrades for the fishing boats from the dog, and he has the age 1 up from the market for his villagers. He has 16 villagers on wood. It's probably about the right amount if you're going to be going lots of Yumi and lots of fishing boats. We do see that the Puma are sent over here to the right. I'm not entirely sure why. I think maybe that was just the gathering point, or where the point. Okay, so going over to the docks now. He did not know that there was docks over here, but he does now. But he does not react to it? Question mark. I guess he's not paying a whole lot of attention to the minimap. Or maybe he's just wanting to put pressure on the base right now instead of focusing the docks. That's an okay option. Instead of focusing the docks, just putting pressure on the base. If you're able to break down the TC and most of the villagers, then you could do pretty well. Otherwise, I mean, the dock's kind of free to go down. Those Puma would have taken it out really fast. But if he's wanting to do a really hard timing push, now he has to do it now. Well, I mean, he doesn't have to do it now, but he is going to... If he's wanting to do it now, he's got to get all his units there. He does have both TPs. That is worth noting. 32 to 58 on Eco Pop, though. 41 to 13 on Military Pop. We see a Consulate coming out now. That TC is going to be firing on the maces. The sentries are sent. Irregulars are not sent. Okay. Market is going to be going down in just a bit. Let's see if he's getting any ups. He does have a couple more ups. The food gathering up, in fact. And the regenerative forestry, which is the second wood up. He also has civil servants. Yeah. Alright. Sad this is the last game today? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so Coyote's coming over now. They do see the villagers. A ship comes over to... he just has one ship. And I think that... I like that choice to build a ship. It basically gives you an avenue to retreat with your army. It also... it's kind of like a cannon. It's not a very mobile cannon because it's restricted to where it can go. But it's sort of like a cannon in Age 2. So the maces, the Puma, the Coyote should not engage too close to them. Yeah. And there's a bit of a fight here. The Puma and the Coyote are not engaging. It's just the maces. Coyote on the side, getting in on the sentries. We do see the Fume going after one Coyote runner. Is he going to take it down before the villager goes down? It does. And he's defending with the Ashi and the Yumi. Monk in there, a couple irregulars in there. Some Shinobi being trained right now. Optimus Prime has a very ragtag, very diverse army there. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of units with a total military pop of 26. And Alligator has 52 military pop, 37 to 66. That's the eco difference, and that's gonna be the difference in this game. We do see that he is aging. That is with the Golden Pavilion, as is expected. If you're going to be fighting in Age 3, that's almost always the best upgrade to Age 3 with, as Japan. You will be getting some serious ups to your military And all of the other options, while they are okay, that's just better. We do see a dot coming out from Alligator now, but even without him, even without the top C, he should still have an eco advantage. So that's interesting. Perhaps he doesn't know how hard Optimus Prime has boomed on C. Yeah, 62 bills at 10 minutes. Yeah, solid. Yeah, 13 minutes, 69 bills. Yeah, we do see Fune's a Fune out now, and it's able to kind of defend from the military units. Looking at units in queue, it is a canoe in queue. Canoes are okay. They're cost efficient, not very strong though. What? How are they still firing? What the? What? What? What the? What? How is that even possible? That is definitely a bug. What the heck? Look at the HP of those maces in the war chief. What the heck? I've never seen that before. That was like legit like half the map almost. Well, at least half the land map. That what? I've never that's crazy. All right, we do see canoes fighting over here. Canoes do take down the Fune. The dock goes down. All of these fishing boats will go down. We do see Optimus Prime is age 3. Economically 42 to 70. Militarily 50 to 55 actually, 60 now. And those Ashi, Shinobi, Naganatas now. Yeah, that should be interesting. He should be able to win this fight pretty easily. It is disciplined Ashigaru. It is disciplined Naginata. It's going to clean up this fight. 2 Atakabunes are shipped. Atakabunes, so cleaned up. And I believe Alligator should call it pretty soon. But yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And I've never seen that bug before. Like okay, I've seen a bug where a ship or a cannon fired really far, but it was just like one shot and that was it. But he kept on firing. That was just like barrage after barrage, it looked like. Yeah, that's crazy. He should clean up the rest of this. I expect this game to be over pretty quickly. Canoes are taking out the Fune, but if he loses base in the meantime, all of Aztec's economy is right here. That's all of it. There's TPs, of course, and there's a few villagers idling over here. But even if Optimus Prime lost all his C, he wouldn't be in a terrible position. He has the military to do so. Yeah. Yeah, GG. Alright. Yeah, that was crazy, that firing. That was crazy. Someone clip that. Alright, let's look at the combat stats real quick. 103 to 40. And combat XP, almost double the combat XP. Resources gathered. I was waiting for chat to start responding to that bug. That was crazy. Resources gathered. Military unit pop. Yeah, Opti very far behind. That Fune though just kind of really bolstering his forces, and then also of course defender's advantage. Villager pop. You see how far ahead Opti was pretty much the whole game. So well done.